This week's episode is brought to you by NYXI and their Hyperion Pro Joy-Cons for Nintendo Switch. The Hyperion Pro is the best Joy-Con replacement we've tested to date. They look fantastic, they feel better than stock Joy-Cons, and the Hall effect sticks ensure longevity of them will outlast Nintendo's offering, as well as other third-party brands that still suffer with the dreaded drift issues. The super comfortable and ergonomic grip allow for easy long-time gaming. The programmable RGB lights mean you can customize the controller to your particular taste, and the gamer's reflex macro buttons are available to give you an edge. Plus, the GameCube-inspired purple option and the green Legend of Zelda-inspired variant really make the controller stand out. All this, and using promo code PvP, you can get 10% off. Head over to NYXIGame.com or use the link in the description. Hello, welcome to Podcast vs. Player episode 289. I'm one of your hosts, Callan, as always. I'm joined by a man who asked me how did Bilbo Baggins know that Frodo had passed away? You read his obituary? So shit.
Obituary.
Who told me the reason James Corden was engaged for over 4 years before he married was because his wife was saving up for the wedding cake? Say bloody Dan.
Guten Tag.
Guten Tag. How are you? I don't know any other phrases.
Wie heißt du?
What's that mean?
How are you?
Ah, I should have probably put two and two together.
Unless it doesn't.
I'll just have to take your word for it.
Yeah.
How are you?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. The weather has somewhat calmed down in jolly old England, so we're at a paltry 13 degrees, I want to say.
Yeah, it's 14 here, but it still feels a bit like bleh and muggy. Yes. But that really annoys me. I've seen it more like when I get notifications about the weather on my phone from Google, and it'll go, it's 16 degrees, but it feels like 17. It's fucking 17 then, isn't it?
Well, no, because that's if it's a warm wind. So it's it's actually 16 degrees from the sun, but the wind will make it, because that's why when it's cold, it's it's 2 degrees, but with a freezing cold wind, it feels like it's -4.
It goes up, yeah. It goes down. Sorry, yeah. Just annoys me. Anyway, have I got some movie news for you, Daniel? So, do you want to start off with the reasonably goodish news or the bad news?
I don't know. Is one of these about Kraven the Hunter, by any chance?
Yes. I'm going to let you decide which one that is, though.
I'm going to say the reasonably goodish news.
It is, yeah. It's also a fucking lie, but it's just better than the other one. So we'll start.
Is the news that it is still coming out, and everyone's like, oh.
Yeah. I mean, I will say, I think as somebody that doesn't like Venom, somebody that didn't like Madam Web, somebody that didn't like Morbius, this looks the best one of the Sony movies.
By comparison, yes.
Yes, yeah. That's a really backhanded compliment, but I think if this wasn't Kraven and this was just a film, it could probably be quite enjoyable.
Maybe it still goes back to the things that we said from the get go. Really, it's just why has he got superpowers? Why is he a magical hunter? And why is he an anti-hero in the same way that they tried to make that? It should all be combined around Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He should just be the villain of the week for Spider-Man. And also, you've seen him, shoot people, and, why is he using a bow and arrow?
I mean...
Come on.
I don't mind him using various weaponry and stuff, and the power bit, I don't mind. How he gets his powers, I'm very much against, because a fucking... lion bled on him a little bit or whatever it was.
Radioactive panther bite.
Yeah, but he is a superhuman in the comics, but he gets that from the herbal flower things.
Yeah, but it's just enhanced strength.
Yeah,
he's not it's like Catwoman. She was
licked by cats.
Looked into the eyes of a magical cat, and now she's like a cat. And she eats cat food. And
oh yeah, the Halle Berry one. I was thinking of Michelle Pfeiffer when she's in the alley and the cats are licking her. That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
No.
The Halle Berry one was way worse. I mean, this doesn't look as bad as Catwoman. I'll give it that.
That's not a low bar. That's not a positive thing to say. Is it better or worse than Catwoman?
I mean, the one thing we can't say, like, obviously, from what we've seen, it looks like they have gone down, here's another villain who's now an anti-hero route. But it's not to say that the end of the film doesn't end with him turning just full villain, because we don't know yet. Unlikely, but, you know, it's a possibility.
I don't know. I mean, he's a hunter at the end of the day. So if it's just sort of like, oh, he's taking out poachers and stuff like that, it's like, isn't that what he does? He's a hunter. He kills animals. He hunts everything.
Yeah, it's a case of, like, again, why he hunts Spider-Man is because Spider-Man is considered a formidable prey and a challenge and stuff. And, like, he can kill a bear, he can kill a fucking rhino, he can kill a fucking lion because he's done all that. Well, that was going to be the kind of the segue to it. This is actually, I didn't know this until yesterday. This is the first R-rated Marvel movie in the Sony Spider-Man universe.
It's R-rated.
R-rated.
I don't get the impression from that it was. I don't know if that's supposed to be a Green Band trailer or something, but
the trailer I watched was very, like, there was a lot of gore in it and people getting decapitated and stuff like that. Not saying that makes it a good film, but it definitely looks gorier than the, like, Venom and Morbius and stuff. Probably won't include Madam Web in that because that wasn't anything rated.
Rated shit for children.
Yeah, it was a U for unwatchable. But the movie has been moved from its August 30th slot to December 13th, which puts it in the same month as Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim, Mufasa,
There's
The Lion King.
New Lord of the Rings?
Apparently so.
Fuck me, I didn't know that.
I didn't until I wrote this script. Mufasa, The Lion King, Sonic the Hedgehog 3. I didn't like the idea of it before, and I like it even less now.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll watch it when it comes on Disney Plus.
Well, you say that. I think I've only watched The Lion King, like the photorealistic Lion King remake. I think I've watched that once.
I've only watched it once. I didn't hate it. It's just
I've got no reason to go back to it, though.
It's unnecessary. And
it's like The Little Mermaid and stuff, like that's on there, I'm sure. And I've been meaning since it came out to watch that at some point. But I'm just not interested.
I forgot all about The Little Mermaid, but I also didn't. I'm not a big fan of the cartoon anyway. Never was. It was one of the few Disney films that didn't grab me, kind of thing. Like Beauty and the Beast, I love Beauty and the Beast. And again, the live action one, it's fine. Doesn't add anything to it. It's not as good, but it's all right. And I feel the same about The Lion King. Like, the only thing they added was Beyonce's got some extra songs.
Oh, yeah. That was the thing. Like, Nala had a song of her own, didn't she? Yeah.
And I didn't like that. But it's I suppose it's one of those where you've got the side of people where they go, it's not, you've changed too much. I don't like it. Just give me the original. But then the other side of that is, so they go, you just made the original, you haven't added anything new to, like, you can't please everyone kind of thing. But it just seems an expensive waste of time.
Then don't do it.
Yeah, just like, nobody was sat there. I don't think
do it, and everybody wins.
Yeah, we can still watch The Lion King. So
it's not now just sort of like so broken and unwatchable that it's not enjoyable for anybody.
It's not like I don't think any of the Disney films are in that state. I'll be honest. Like, they're all incredibly well animated
to a degree, but it's because that was the first of its kind, and it's 30 years old, and you know, sure. But that's just the newer ones that are coming out. But you can still watch it and still enjoy it. You're not taken aback by, like, oh god, this looks terrible, doesn't it?
No, it just makes you appreciate how good the new ones look.
Yeah, well, did you see the trailer for Snow White?
Yes, I did, from the Disney Expo.
Yeah, it looks gross.
I'll be honest, I'm more concerned, and again, you might have to correct me if I'm politically incorrect in the way I say it, but why did they not use just real life short people? Little people?
That was going to be my exact question as well. Because either make a CG Snow White with the CG versions of the anime, because they seem to just be like the CG versions of the animated dwarves.
Yeah.
But yeah, why would you not just cast a bunch of people?
It doesn't make sense.
Why do they have to be animated? Because all it's going to do, it'll age the movie almost immediately.
Yeah.
And it's CG isn't to the point just yet that you can have a real person interacting with a computer-generated person, and you cannot tell the difference. Her being there around all of them makes all of them look more unreal.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong.
And it's only going to get worse.
There's really good examples of it, like Mowgli sitting on Baloo when he's floating down the river in the Jungle Book and stuff. Like, they did a lot of really cool interactions, but at no point did I go, can't believe that's not a real bear.
It's a singing bear.
Yeah,
it's fine.
But that's the kind of thing where you go, they're not going to get a real bear, so this is as close to what we can get.
Yeah, you couldn't do this.
Yeah, it looks it does genuinely look amazing, but when you could just hire people, which would be cheaper,
I think if
more
anything,
cost
there'd
effective.
be a bit of an uproar of sort of like, why would you not hire little people to come in and?
Well, they did it with Wonka, didn't they? Because who was cast as the Oompa Loompa? British guy.
Oh, it's bloody Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant, yeah. Like, people kicked off like, why have you cast Hugh Grant as a character? But this just seems really, really backwards as to not to, especially with Disney as well, where they are a bit more on the ball with.
Because like in The Hobbit, obviously, all of the like the main party, apart from like Martin Freeman's obviously a hobbit.
Yeah.
But all of the dwarves, they're all supposed to be sort of like hobbitish kind of size.
Yeah.
Sort of like half a human size ish. And that was all just sort of like forced perspective, and there was CG work in The Hobbit, but certainly in like the original Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
With all the hobbits being significantly smaller than all of the people, like long distance, sort of like running across the field or whatever. That's a kid.
Yeah.
That they just put in the outfit.
Yeah.
But like when it's two of them talking to each other, it's all forced perspective and it's very clever camera trickery, and you can't really, you just don't go, oh god, that's clearly not that person talking to another person.
Yeah.
Like, it's shot very, very well.
Smart. It's smart thought out.
Yeah, this just looks like it would throw you back. And again, it's the same with like Lilo and Stitch. Like, we've only seen a little bit of Stitch. We haven't seen a trailer for it yet, but the second that Lilo is interacting with that Stitch, it's just going to be so obvious that it's not a real thing.
I think that will fall in the same kind of category as the Jungle Book, though, where you've already you know Stitch isn't real, so it's kind of okay as long as it's done well. It's not too bad. Same as like some of the CGI shots of like Grogu and stuff in The Mandalorian, where it's because in our brains we know that that's not a real alien interacting with a real person. As long as it's animated and thought out well enough, it should still carry the film. Well,
it's a lot of it's animatronic though, which is why it's a real physical thing that he's holding.
Yeah,
like, it's only if he's sort of doing a flip or whatever that it's.
But I assume they'll do the same with Lilo and Stitch. They'll have an animatronic Stitch where, like, when they are holding it and stuff.
Nah.
But look at Roger Rabbit though. Like the amount of intricate effort they put into that, it still looks like phenomenal now. And I know that's cartoon versus CG. But I was more annoyed. Like, somebody had talked about this last weekend and said, "Oh my god, have you seen the live action Stitch?" I was like, it looks exactly the same as the cartoon Stitch.
It doesn't. It looks like it's the fur on it.
It's got texture and stuff, obviously.
I know, but I never saw him as having fur.
I mean, he's meant to be a dog, isn't he? Like, not meant to be a dog, but obviously they get him thinking that it's a dog. So I always assumed he would be hairy.
Yeah, but it just doesn't look. It just doesn't look right.
It's like when people did the first mock-ups of Pikachu, and he had fur and stuff, and like Jigglypuff had that little quiffy bit, and people were just like, "It looks too much like hair." But if it wasn't, it would be skin.
But it's just like, it's just like a rubbery kind of armor. Like, it's why he was bulletproof and whatever.
But it's a good film.
I just don't like it. It's one of those things of just, you can't do it well enough to justify it, so just don't do it.
Lilo and Stitch, I'm one of these people, I can take it or leave it, I'll be honest.
I really like it. I've seen that an absolute bunch of times.
It's not a bad film, but it's not one where they go, "What's your favourite Disney film?" That's never at the top of my list. Not because I don't like it, it's just I don't think about it. I mean, I don't think Logan's ever watched it, so I might sit down one weekend and watch it together. But,
yeah.
what was I going to say? Lilo and Stitch. No, it's gone. But some of the other stuff from the Disney Expo. New Incredibles.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see anything of it. And a Toy Story 5. Apparently, Toy Story 5. Do you want the rumored, like general story idea?
As in, what, are they actually going to kill them all off this time?
Well, I mean, I don't know about that, but it's going to be the toys versus electronics. So, like, game consoles and iPads and whatnot. Because that's what kids do these days. Like, kids these days are all about bloody playing on screens.
Yeah, but they're dolls. They'd move, they walk, they talk, they jump, they whatever. What are they going to do against an iPhone or whatever? It's just sat there.
I don't know if it's like a fight to the death kind of thing. I just mean, like, obviously the kids aren't going to be paying the toys any attention.
I see. Right.
I don't. That's the rumor anyway. Kind of makes sense, but I think it would be better if they rounded it off, because this has got to be. It has to be the last one. It's got to be. They've said this about the last two. So.
I don't know. I mean, they've not really made a bad one yet.
No, I don't dislike any of them, but I do think we're only one movie away from it just being, you fucked it. It was nearly. It was.
I mean, like Lightyear's the spin-off of that.
I don't know, because I always saw Lightyear as this is what the toy is based on this person, rather than it being part of the Toy Story saga.
Right, but you do realise that film wouldn't exist if Toy Story didn't.
No, I know that, but what I'm saying is
it's a spin-off from that series.
Kind of, yeah, I'll give you that. But I think this would be better if it was Andy. Andy's a dad, and for whatever reason, like, I don't know, he sees a Facebook Marketplace fucking advert, and it's a Buzz and a Woody and stuff, and he ends up going to all these different places, getting the toys, bringing them home, and then kind of passing the torch to his son. So it starts with Andy and it ends with Andy.
And then the kid opens up the toy chest and goes, ugh.
Maybe, I don't know.
30 years old. They're disgusting.
Not necessarily like specifically that, but just have it finish with Andy. That's the end of the saga then, and then we could all move on. Because I don't think this one will be as good as the others.
I mean,
it might be. Yeah, I mean, we don't know anything about it. It's just, I don't know. I didn't love that they did a fourth one. It's a very good film, but I didn't love that they did it. And I think 3 was a good way to end it. 4 doesn't really end with a. Also, Woody's fucked off, hasn't he?
Well, he stayed with Bo, hasn't he?
Yeah. So,
like in the wild,
living it up rough. What else was there? Obviously, we had all the Fortnite stuff, but you don't care about that.
Zootopia.
Yes, a new Zootopia. We did kind of rumour that before the event happened. We knew it was coming. I'm still open-minded, and I think I do want one. But again, the first one's fucking great. And I
cannot see a way of beating it.
I would prefer a Disney Plus show that was more like a cop show. So
solving murders and
CSI
Zootopia.
Effectively, maybe not as dark as that, but like just this episode it's this episode it's this. Maybe this one's a 2-parter. This episode's this. So it's just solving crimes.
Well, there was what? There's like 6 or 8 areas of Zootopia. Right?
Yeah.
This one's in the ice, and this
one's
like
in the grasslands, desert. Icelands, desert sort of stuff. Yeah.
But we only saw like the jungle, the desert, and like the bit of the normal city.
Yeah, and some of them were just part of the same thing.
Not the desert, sorry, the ice thing. We didn't really go to any of the other environments. So there's like you could go to other areas and do different crimes in there, but I just don't like. That's one of those ones where you're just like, oh, nailed it. Don't ruin it. Don't try and milk it.
Yeah, but I suppose that's the same for like I didn't like it, but people loved Frozen, and it just seemed silly to not capitalise on that.
They haven't made a Tangled 2, have they?
No, and they fucking should, because it's...
No, they shouldn't. That's my point.
I know. I think it's...
Just, that one's spot on. You nailed it.
What I prefer with Tangled is I just want them to re-release it so people watch it. Because it came out at the same time as Frozen, pretty much, and then Frozen, everyone fucking loved it, and then nobody talks about Tangled, and it's a far superior film.
It absolutely
in every fucking way. The animation's better. characters are better, the songs are fucking better.
Songs are great.
It's just a very, very good film. And I don't think there's anything you could do with a sequel, realistically, because it's the story of Rapunzel, effectively. But
she hasn't got the hair.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, after that, where do you go from that? It's just going to be them living a life.
Yeah.
It's like
as royalty.
Yeah. But no, I don't want to do another one. But I would like people to just be more appreciative of that particular film. I don't think there was anything else really major that they announced. Obviously, we've got all the Fortnite stuff, so it's currently a Marvel season.
Skeleton Crew.
Skeleton Crew, I don't want to talk about because I've fucking despised every second of that trailer.
Absolutely gross.
I don't know why. In my head, I expected something not as adult as Andor, but maybe like a live action Bad Batch kind of thing, where it's just a skeleton crew, whether they are criminals, whether they are
or like Rogue Squadron.
Yeah, just a ragtag team of fucking misfits on the way of stuff. Not the fucking Goonies.
Yeah. Like in a proper American suburb.
Yeah, it looks so bad.
It looks like a fan film where they just sort of like gone, oh, we'll just take that house, but just put a big metal tower on the side of it. Now it's a sci-fi house. That's cool. And it's all children.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you're a Jedi?
I thought you just played the trailer then. It was so good.
Give me a second season of Andor. People get shot in the face.
To be fair, I saw a thing today. I purposely didn't include it in this because I didn't want to read the article. But the headline was the showrunner for Andor says season 2 of Andor makes Rogue One a different movie.
How?
I don't know because I didn't want to read the article down.
Okay, no, that's good. I don't know what that means. Because it was about it's about Andor.
I mean, Rogue One he's a bit character in Rogue One more than anything. But the only way I can see whether it changes your perception of a character in Rogue One, so you might feel
maybe he
differently
was the one who recruited Jin's dad or something like that.
Maybe,
which
yeah.
Obviously won't be the case, but it would be something like, oh, he actually started the
fire.
Like, I don't know. Like if he's caused all of this,
maybe,
or
yeah,
like
could
he's
be
responsible for half the deaths of the Resistance, which is why they're having to sort of like they've got piss poor numbers and whatever. Like we don't know. But like Rogue One's pretty fucking spectacular.
I love it.
I have every time they release a new movie, it gives me more respect for Rogue One.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It's just every time they just sort of like Rise of Skywalker, and then here's like the Acolyte. Also, do you know what I found out today, which I don't really like? I didn't. I'm sure we talked about the Acolyte when I actually got around to watching it. And Jackie, Sol's Padawan, who gets stabbed to fuck.
Yeah.
That's Daphne Keane.
X-23.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Me either, because there was something I saw today where it was like a red carpet press photo with her and Hugh Jackman at like the Logan release, and then it's like a new one from the Deadpool Wolverine. And I think I clicked into the picture and I was just like, fucking hell, it has only been like 5 years, but she looks like it's a totally different person.
Yeah.
And someone said, oh, I loved her in The Acolyte. And I was like, she wasn't in the fucking Acolyte. Then Googled her name and it was like, yeah. And I was like, I wouldn't have called it. Maybe that makeup was
nothing
so
like
good.
her.
But it makes sense now, like, because I'm pretty sure I might be wrong. I might have just said it to someone else. I just thought it, but I'm pretty sure I said that. Like, I was a bit gutted that Padawan got killed off because she has some sick moves. Like, clearly she's got that sort of same sort of like speed and training and aggression that she had that we saw in Logan.
Well, there was a lot of, and again, you could do a lot of stuff with visual effects these days, but there was a lot of her stuff was a lot of, you could see her doing it. So it wasn't like the back of her head and stuff like that where it's clearly a stunt double. So Yeah, it makes fucking loads of sense.
Let me just put my robes up so you definitely can't see my face, and now I'm going to do a triple backflip.
Well, that's what. Have you seen it? It's a really old clip, but it's Michael Jordan and his mom, and like he does a shot, and she's like, "Let me show you how a pro does it." And then when it cuts to her doing the shot, it's like a 7-foot tall basketball person with a grey wig on, and then like does the dunk, and then but it's very clearly not her. But I like that. I'll try and find the clip. It's so fucking. I don't know what it's for, but it's fucking funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that makes sense though, because she did a lot of her own stuff in Logan, so makes sense. And now you've said it, I can see it.
Yeah.
But I would never have called that, and I don't remember seeing a name in the credits or anything either.
I never stick around for the credits. I mean, you know what Disney Plus is like anyway. It's just like, right, start the next episode in like 5 seconds.
No, that's why, yeah, because it'll come off, and then it goes, the box goes into the corner, and then it just takes you back to basically the menu bit. That always annoys me on Disney Plus. That does. But anyway.
if you're watching something, it just goes straight into the next episode.
Yeah, but I watched it week to week, so that was the last episode.
Of course. Yeah.
But yeah, and I never called that. Well done for spotting that, even though somebody kind of technically pointed it
yes,
out.
Someone else did.
But if that hadn't have happened, I wouldn't have known.
No, but I thought I'd raise it now. I'm also pretty sure when I was talking about her specifically, I was just like, oh, I don't know who it is, so I'm sorry. Or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm a bit annoyed that I didn't get it.
She was really good.
Props to the costume and makeup people, because
yeah, very much so.
Completely different person. And also, she must be in sort of like her 20s or whatever. I thought she was about 14 in that.
Yeah, I mean,
she's not in her 20s. Maybe she's like late teens, early 20s.
I think she's might be 19, 20 maybe. But I've only seen it. She was in Logan, and then she was in His Dark Materials. She was the lead in that, the Golden Compass TV show. That's really good if you've never watched it. It's very, very good.
No, I remember I'd watched because Lin-Manuel Miranda's in it, isn't it?
Very good.
But I remember watching a few of that. I don't remember being disappointed by it, certainly.
Yeah, it was. I really enjoyed it. And then obviously, spoilers, she shows up in Wolverine Deadpool. Deadpool Wolverine, sorry. She's basically done a bit of everything now. She's done Fox Marvel stuff. She's done Disney Marvel stuff. She's done Disney Star Wars stuff.
A Disney contract.
Yeah, it's just anything Disney.
We'll keep pumping you out in stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, she's really good in Logan. Obviously, she didn't have a lot of screen time in Deadpool and Wolverine, but the bits that she did have, I liked her in. She's very, very good in His Dark Materials, and a lot younger as well, because I think that was a little bit before and a little bit after Logan as well. Right. So she's still around about that age. She was excellent in Acolyte, but I'm not going to give her that one because I didn't know it was her. But that particular character I really liked, and it was annoying that obviously
it's weird that they've because everyone fucking hated Ahsoka when she was introduced in the Clone Wars, because it was like, oh god, boo, children,
whiny bitch girl.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh, here's another Padawan, but it's like, I can't dig this one. She's all right.
Yeah.
She seems to have got her head screwed on. She's like giving orders and stuff, and then she can actually fight.
I think that
which actually makes sense that she managed to hold out for so long, because clearly she's like a named actress, and like people that recognise. So it surprises me even more then that they killed her off.
Yeah. Spoilers for Acolyte.
To be fair, maybe it's sort of like she's too expensive now. We can't just get her back for a second season.
I mean, it could be. Yeah. I mean, it could be a case of I don't know whether they thought that they were going to get a second season or not, or it was still kind of like.
I'd watch the second season. It's just that the majority of the Jedi that I liked, you killed them all.
I'm still more pissed off that it's, especially with the trailer stuff, is Carrie-Anne Moss. Dead.
I know. I'm as soon as she died in that first one, I was like, so, and then it was like going into the next scene. So I was like, okay, so this is because it goes straight from Mai to
Usha.
Yes, Usha. Thank you. And I was like, oh, okay, so this is her in the past before she finds her powers or whatever. And then the more the episodes go on, I was like, oh, so they're two different people. So Carrie-Anne Moss is just dead now, is she? I was like,
it's such a fucking waste. I know she pops up again later, but
barely. That doesn't count.
Well, I mean, even if you counted the screen time she had in the first episode, and then I think there's 2 other episodes after where she pops up, she still hasn't got a full episode's worth of screen time. Absolutely
not. And you get someone like Carrie-Anne Moss, you want to use her properly.
Yeah. And there's zero chance as well, given how powerful she was, when she's got, obviously May is attacking her, and then she's got a choice, which like that. Or, she could have done fucking both.
Well, just push 100%.
It's a force push her away, grab them, put him down, carry on. Job fucking done.
Yeah.
I know it was story beats, but come on.
Throw him across the kitchen so he doesn't get a knife stuck in him.
Or just let him die. He might have been a bad guy, we don't know.
Yeah, and his kid. Fuck him.
You kill them all.
I'm really, again, though, I completely agree. I thought she was going to be like the lead in this. Well, not the lead, but like she was going to be Sol, basically. And like she was going to be like the one who's in it the most. I was just incredibly surprised that they just bait and switched her.
Don't get me wrong, I like Sol. Again, I don't know the gentleman's name.
I said the same thing last time. He's great. He is the best part of it. But yeah, I thought that you get a name like her. Why wouldn't you be utilising her?
Just doesn't make any sense. Even if you do kill her off, like you say, then we go back to the past for a few episodes, so we've got more. At least we've got time.
But you want to get to know her first. You want to sort of like, she's like, see her doing some like Jedi in her prime, and then she gets like blindsided by this kid. It feels.
It's not earned, and when you watch something like again, you have finished Rebels, haven't you now? I'm sure you did finish it.
I don't think so.
No, you did. You did. You watched it before we watched Ahsoka because that was leading into the stuff with Thrawn. So I was like, you need to watch things.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I didn't though, mate. I'll double check now, but I'm pretty sure I didn't. If I go to Disney Plus now, just click on Rebels. I want to clarify before I say anything. That's all. Aliens. I did watch Aliens the other day, actually.
Ooh.
It's getting ready for Romulus.
Yeah.
Also, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is already on Disney Plus.
It is. I mentioned it last week. I still haven't had a chance to watch it yet, though.
Dingus.
That'll be a weekend job.
Also, Prey's showing up because clearly it's sort of like Predator, Alien.
Yeah.
Like they're pushing this a little bit more.
Prey's fucking excellent, though.
Oh, it is.
That's such a good film.
Right, Rebels. Continue. Is episode 15, season 4. So I think I have then because it's.
So I'm pretty sure you did because
don't remember those big wolves being in there, but sure
because of Ahsoka. I mean, they're the Loth wolves, but with Kanan.
I don't remember.
All right, so spoilers for Star Wars Rebels, potentially spoilers for Dan if he's forgot, but there's a bit. In Star Wars Rebels, where Kanan has a choice, and everyone, basically, him and the crew are going to die, or he can save them. And then basically they have to watch as he fucking dies in a fiery explosion. Right. But he uses the Force, push them back, and he's holding back the blast to give them time to escape. And they're all like, Kanan, no! And obviously he's blind at this point. And then before he dies, the Force gives him his sight back so he can see everyone.
So he watches his own death.
Yeah, I mean, it's meant to be like a poignant moment. And then he pushes the ghost away and everyone's just like, no! And then he dies and it's dead sad. But we've got to know him over the course of many seasons that it was a genuinely sad moment. Like, I was like, fucking, A, this is a fucking Disney show. B, they've killed off like one of my favourite Star Wars characters of all time. I really like Kanan, and it was a really like poignant moment in Star Wars, and that's what you need to do with somebody like Carrie-Anne Moss, where give us the chance to get to know her and get invested in the character, because A, it's fucking Trinity from the Matrix, so she's already one up on everyone else.
Yeah,
but this was a case where we just go, cool, it's Trinity from the Matrix. She's dead. Like, and we don't. All we feel is anger because, like, what a fucking waste.
I'm just going to double check now and just see if it's the case. It may not be anymore, but I'm pretty sure that when it was sort of like, coming soon, the Acolyte or whatever on Disney Plus, she was the main one.
Yeah, she was on the trailer and she got top billing on the thingy for the trailer as well because she's the biggest name at the time. Because as much as we love Soul,
yeah. So there's Soul, and then Carry On Moss. That's literally on the picture I'm looking at now. So he's in it the whole time. He's great. She's in it and she's fine. And then Carry On Moss is there and she's killed almost immediately.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Absolute fucking waste. Anyway, speaking of waste, Dan, Borderlands movie is currently holds an embarrassingly low 10% on Rotten Tomatoes. So it's gone up because it was at 6%, then it went up to 9%. Now we're on 10%. And with a budget of $120 million, its current return is 18.5.
18.
18. And we've
this is why you can't go off script. Like, you can't go for something that people don't know. You do Call of Duty, it'll just be a war movie, but people would go and see it because they go, "Oh, I know that. I think I've heard of that."
It's a Call of Duty.
I'm not going to say that it's niche by any means. It's a very popular series for obvious reasons.
Yeah, but not for the story.
No, again, it's the gunplay, it's the ridiculous weapons, it's all crazy and nonsense.
It's a looter shooter.
Yeah, I just don't see it being the best of things to base something on, especially if it's supposed to be like based around characters that are from the games.
Well, this is a bit confusing because the characters they've used don't come together in the games as much. So they've kind of made their own thing, which is fine if they just go, "This is a different universe to the game universe." I am fine with that, but I think it was poorly cast. I think it was a really poor choice of a game to pick, if I'm honest. Of all the games you could have picked to make a movie out of, Borderlands would not be anywhere near the top of my fucking list.
Unless it was a Netflix show.
Even that, I'd be like...
Like an animated, kind of like...
Animated, yes.
Where it can be insane and crazy and everything's exploding and cars are doing backflips and stuff. I can't see it being any good, Callum. I don't trust reviews anyway, because it is always subjective. It is always opinion. I'm sure that people have gone in and gone, "I don't know what the fuck everyone's whinging about. It's great. It's exactly what the Borderlands experience should be."
There'll be people that like it because there's people that like everything. I'm very anti against the new Crow movie, but there's going to be people who watch it. And
that was one of the trailers that was in the Deadpool Wolverine. Me and my mate just looked at it, was just like, ugh.
I hate every fucking single aspect of it.
It looks more like it's the Darkness movie,
not even that. I love the Darkness.
Cool arms.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be a game that you could make a cool film out of.
That'd be a good Venom movie, that would.
I mean, it's already a better Venom. The cutscenes alone are a better Venom movie than the Venom movie.
Jackie!
But it looks so fucking dog shit. And he just looks like the Joker from Suicide Squad.
It does. You can tell it's just, it's Pennywise, but he's just going through his emo phase rather than his clown phase.
Again, he's a really good actor, and he might be really good in it.
Boy Kills World.
Oh, yeah, with Archer.
Yeah,
H. John Benjamin. Yeah.
Who's narrating his voices.
Yeah, he's the inner
That
voice.
looks pretty good.
Looks amazing.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Yeah.
But as soon as I saw it, I was just like...
Is that him or his brother, though? Which Skarsgård is it? It is him. I can't remember.
It is him, yeah. Absolutely it is, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, again, I like the original Crow, but I still stand by a lot of the popularity, and the reason it became a cult classic is because the unfortunate the death, obviously, that happened to the lead. But it's the same vein as Heath Ledger's Joker. He wouldn't have won the awards that he got after he passed if he hadn't have died, because people wouldn't have. Don't wrong. He was great and he deserved them, but comic book movies don't get nominated for the kind of awards that he won. It was just more of a honor the
costumes and visual effects and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
that's what they get these days.
And that's how I've always perceived The Crow. Like, The Crow's it's an okay film, but it got a cult following because of the events that aspired on set. But one of the best things about it is the soundtrack, and like 9 Inch Nails and stuff, and everything that they put into it was real fucking good. It's not gothic music. And it's like everything about it just looks bad, and I really, really don't want to watch it. I will at some point, clearly, and I might even go, you know what, it's all right, but I don't think I will. And I would rather watch Borderlands. out of the two.
I agree. I think I would as well, because at least I know that could just be on for a silly, sort of romp adventure. But I've got a feeling that potentially the people have gone to see this and they don't get it because they're just sort of like, it's just everyone's got like 500 guns and I don't understand. And people who enjoy it go, it's kind of just exactly like Borderlands. It's just it's silly and nonsense and everyone's just getting exploded and it's just gore and people have got guns that shoot lightning and then one shoots rainbows and you just sort of like, oh well, that is what I'd expect it to be.
I mean, my biggest worry is that it's none of those things and it's just utterly shit.
I think it'd be shit with terrible story and no one knows what they're actually in.
I even from the first trailer,
I reckon you could line up that entire cast and say, hands up anyone who's played Borderlands, and they'd be like, I would
probably say Kevin Hart because he's got somebody. He does a lot of game streaming with people.
Again, but is he playing something a bit more under the radar, or is he just streaming Fortnite?
I don't know. I've never sat and watched one, but I just know that he has.
Yeah, maybe he's heard of it. I mean, I can be reasonably secure on that. Yeah.
The odds are that he's probably, at least from the cast, he's probably one of the only ones that's gone. You're going to sit Jamie Lee
Curtis down and say, right, this is this game series, this is what it's about. Do you want to play a bit? But no, I've got another Freaky Friday the movie.
Especially after she slagged off the MCU as well the other day. Well, a few weeks ago, and then she did apologise for her comments, but it's like, you can't say anything. Some of the films you've been in, love. Holy moly. Don't get me wrong, Jamie Lee Curtis is fantastic, but she's been in some fucking stinkers.
Well, I've heard she's really good in that. I'm not really I don't watch horror movies and that, but in the Halloween, is it? The new Halloweens where she's kind of reprising an original character from like the 70s or whatever it was. She's supposed to be great in those.
But they've just turned into Ripley. That's all they've done. So she's gone from being the girl screaming to the one kicking ass and stuff. And it's like, that's fine, but it's meant to be a horror film. Like, nobody should be getting one up on the fucking villain. He should be killing everyone. That's the whole point. But
speaking of Ripley, though,
well, I got some interesting news for you, Dan. Alien Romulus, right? Currently on 81% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is surprisingly high.
Surprisingly.
With a budget of 80 million and an estimated return for this opening weekend of between 45 and 55 million.
Bloody hell. That's not bad for an opening weekend.
Yeah, so it should, as long as it does perform that well, give it another 2 weeks, it should have made more than
I think we just guaranteed that there's definitely going to be another one of these then.
Probably. The biggest question is, though, Dan, how are you currently feeling about watching it? Apprehensive or
trepidatious?
Sexy word.
Thank you. I watched Aliens last week, and my fucking god, I will never get bored of that film.
It's a fantastic film.
It's just everything about it just works.
I still think Aliens and Terminator 2 are the best sequels to any
film. Yeah. They have to be. Like nothing comes close. Where it's just sort of like you've taken what was great about the first one, and then you've added.
Unless we count Logan in there.
Some new element. No.
After 6 films, we finally did a good one.
And we did that by cutting out everybody.
But yeah, no, Aliens is fantastic.
I have watched Alien, and I haven't watched. I mean, obviously, I've watched. I was going to say
recently,
for a long time. Yeah. Alien 3, I haven't watched for a while. Resurrection, I think that's when Ripley's like a human. It's like a clone, isn't she?
She's Ripley 8, I think.
It's something like that. Yeah. She's like a alien. It's like with Ron Perlman and Winona Ryder and all that, isn't it? That's probably the one I've watched. Not more of, but I think I remember more from it than.
I think that's the one I've watched the least of. I'll be honest.
Not by choice. I think it's just I must have just had it like a video recording of it or something like that, and I've watched it a bunch of times. But then it just from there it's just sort of like Alien versus Predator, isn't it? Like an Alien 2, and then Alien versus Predator Requiem, and then Prey.
And then no, then Prometheus, and then Prey, and then
no, Prey's Predator for a start.
No, I thought it was on
Covenant.
about just film releases. Sorry.
Nah. But yeah, Covenant was
Covenant.
fine.
No, I don't think much of it. I'll be honest.
Wasn't there a Prometheus and then something else and then Covenant? Because Covenant was supposed to be like back on track to like being a scary movie. Wasn't there another one between Prometheus?
I don't think so. Alien franchise. Let's have a look.
I mean, again, I could just do it on Disney Plus.
Prometheus, Covenant, Romulus.
Really? It feels like there's been two more, just sort of like filling out the nonsense story about Michael Fassbender's robot going crazy.
Aliens, Alien 3, Resurrection, Alien vs. Predator Requiem, Prometheus, Covenant, Romulus.
Oh, Alien vs. Predator 2 was Requiem.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Wow, fucking hell. It could just be a case of, in the same vein that Prey is the best Predator movie outside of original Predator.
I think it's better than Predator, I'll be honest.
No.
I fucking love Prey.
No, Callum, you're wrong. Definitively, you're absolutely wrong.
Let's have a look. Let's see what the scores are.
But I think that this could be, maybe, it's not going to be as good as Alien. It's obviously not going to be as good as Aliens.
Well,
it
we don't
may
know.
not be as good as... I mean, like, Alien 3 is not bad, but it's not great. It's better than Requiem, because Requiem was sort of like, that was just sort of like early 2000s, like late 90s, early 2000s, everything's sci-fi and lasers and whatever, and it's a bit sort of shit. But all the Alien vs. Predator ones are all bad, obviously. This could be sort of like maybe third billing. In like a franchise of like 8 movies. That's not bad going.
Just want to say, you're wrong, Dan.
Well,
Predator has got... it's fucking ad block. Fuck off. Predator, 80%. Prey, 94.
see, I agree with the 94. I absolutely do not agree with the 80.
I love
That's
Predator.
outrageous.
I love Predator.
Outrageous.
But if we're going, what's the better film? Prey's the better film.
Yeah,
100 million %.
It's an 80s schlocky Arnie romp. Covered in mud with fire screaming at a man in a giant Predator suit. Incredible. But did I watch Prey just going, fucking hell, that was great. Yes,
Yeah.
I absolutely did.
Yeah.
That absolutely took me off. But I think it's maybe because I was so expecting it to just be, oh god,
It could have been awful.
And it's just gone straight to Disney Plus. Well, that's not promising. And then it's just, they knocked it out of the park.
My biggest problem with
Maybe
Prey...
it's the lower budget.
I mean, it could be. It works for a lot of stuff. Where again,
if Romulus is sort of like a cheaper film overall,
80 million's fuck all for comparison wise. I mean, again, that's 120 million budget for Borderlands, so it's much lower than Borderlands. So, and it's going to make more money probably.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm just sort of like, oh god, all the alien films are terrible. I want them to be great.
No, but
you're just never going to be able to recapture the original kind of like terror of it.
You won't, and that's just because of the landscape's changing for cinema and stuff. And it doesn't help that I think after Aliens, the next best Alien is Alien Isolation, which is a video game, and that's why I won that film. And that's really hard to capture when you're not controlling the character.
I think you'd lose all of that. Like, it's infinitely scarier when it's after you and you're crawling through a fucking vent. It's just like, is it in front of me? Is it behind me? Is it what?
Yeah. And
you can't capture that in a film.
And that's where they went. Personally, I think that's where they went wrong with the Jurassic Park movies, where after the tension of the first one, I mean, you didn't even see a fucking T-Rex for well into the second half of the fucking film, and everything's about tension. But I don't give that props to them going, as an excellent director. It was just fucking budget limitations. and they hadn't got the technical capabilities to have all the dinosaurs through the films. Because the second they did have the budget, they fucked it all up. And I do like the Chris Pratt ones, but they haven't got the same feel. And
have you not seen Dominion?
That's the last one, isn't it? I don't think I have, actually. I don't think I've watched the last one.
It's not good. Like, Jurassic World was okay. I did kind of... I have seen that a few times. I'm just sort of like... I like, Bryce Dallas Howard. I like Chris Pratt. And I like the kind of the partnership that they have, their little chemistry. No, I don't want a fucking nephews running around, but you've got to have children in peril, I suppose, if it's a dinosaur film. But then Fallen Kingdom was just sort of a bit... Yeah, I remember like a velociraptor running over the roof of someone's house, and that's all I can really remember from that. And then
I mean, they're not great, but I think they're better than like the Lost World and stuff.
No, I disagree.
Really, really,
yeah, I'd absolutely watch the Lost World over Dominion.
I mean, I haven't seen Dominion to make a judgment on that one, but
they are all better than like Jurassic World, Jurassic Park 3, without question. But I would still watch 1 and 2 over... maybe 1, 2 and Jurassic World over the Dominion and Fallen Kingdom. Yeah, well, I definitely would, yeah.
But I don't think you can capture the same feeling you had with Jurassic Park 1. And I think...
I still have that feeling.
It's a tremendous film. It's really good.
It's just it's so good.
And that's the problem with Alien. Like, they were really lucky, Aliens... did capture a bit of that because it went from having one alien to here's more than one alien with the same kind of vibe to it.
No, but that's the thing. It wasn't just sort of like it was an incredible monster, unkillable thing that was stalking.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, there's 100,000 of them now, but you've got this insane squad of Marines with all these cool gadgets and machine guns, and everything's exploding, and you can just tear through them all. They're not scary when you've just got a gun. Like, if in the first one, if they'd just got a shotgun, it's dead straight away. They're not bulletproof.
But it's still got the tenseness of any one of these crew could die at any point.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's very much like they still have no idea what they're getting themselves into. They haven't had like a full briefing. They just got Ripley, who's going, absolutely no way am I going to that fucking planet. Are you kidding
me? Never again.
And they're like, well, what about if we give you a job, though? And she's like, yeah, all right. I'll go back.
Is Alien the one with Ron Perlman? Is that the one where it's got the alien human hybrid?
Yeah. So like I think she's like the perfect hybrid, isn't she? So she's still got like the acid blood. She's got like the reflexes and the strength and whatever. But then they make that like weird monstrous.
It's got like the skull face.
Human skull face. Yeah. She gets it blown out of her.
Yeah, duct thing.
Yeah, terrible. I have to watch that again soon, I reckon, just to go, God, that was awful.
I honestly think I've seen that film in my entire life. I think I've seen it once, maybe twice.
I've seen it a few times. Because like, there's supposed to be this huge reveal with like Winona Ryder. It turns out that she's an android. And they're like, oh my God, a fucking android. I don't want to bang her anymore. Ugh.
I still do. More so. Do you think it's just the USB noise when you pull out?
No, it's like the fax noise. Yeah.
Get off the phone.
I want to come.
But yeah, I mean, again, looking forward to it, but apprehensive. But this is promising.
Yeah, I'm just sort of like, well, maybe it's, again, reviews aren't everything, and no one should just go purely off that as to whether they choose to go and see something or not.
Yeah. Unless it's Borderlands.
But that's the thing. Like, that's such a scale of, like, it's absolute poo. Like, with Madam Web, I knew that wasn't going to be particularly great, but when it was, like, 3% on Rotten Tomatoes, I was like, oh, it's going to be real bad then. Then watching it, I was like, yeah, they're all right. Whenever something sort of sat around this sort of 60 to 80% mark, that to me is sort of like, that's not really a good enough judge of, I do want to see it or I don't want to see it. That's me like, okay, well, that might as well not exist as a review for me to base anything on. I'll just have to see it and go, actually, I think I really enjoyed it. Like, I know that obviously we've talked about it to death, but there's things that you go, that I really like, and there's things that I just go, I don't get it or I don't enjoy it. There's, some of your favourite things.
It's natural.
That's just how that works. Yeah. But typically speaking, anything that's on like 2% on Rotten Tomatoes, if we've both seen it, we both hate it.
Yeah, I mean, things are different when it's a film. I don't know. I'm just looking around. Glasses Case Envelope, the second one, and one person has reviewed it, and it's got 2% or 1% or whatever it would be. then you go, well, no one's fucking watched that film. Nobody's reviewed it, so we can't take that into account. We need to just go in completely blind. But like you say, when you've got something that... This could be, by the time this podcast goes up, it might be up to 15%. But it's gone from 6% for a few days up to 9%, and now it's 10%. Those increments aren't getting bigger in big like chunks, so it hasn't gone from 6% to 52%. A lot of people do not like this film, and I can agree. Like, if you looked at some and you go, this one's the Daily Telegraph, this is the Sunday Times, like, I don't give a fuck what they think. But when IGN have given it a poor review, and GameSpot have given it a poor review, and Polygon have given it a poor review, go, these guys have all played the games. And I know I don't mention IGN very often on this podcast, but typically they're not too far off the mark with the film stuff. Video game reviews, I don't look at all because they got, for some reason, they'll go, Dan, I know you haven't got a Switch, and you hate all Nintendo games, and we've got the new Tomb Raider game to review, but can you review the new Mario game? They go, why you get to it? Because he's clearly going to fucking hate it. And that seems to be what IGN do a lot of. And I think a lot of it is, we've talked about it many times, not just with IGN, but where, look how popular Deadpool and Wolverine is. Let's do a bad review.
Cinema.
Yeah. And because it's that clickbait, gets people involved, it gets algorithms and everything else. And you do have to take some of this 10% into account for that, where people are going, I mean, everybody else I really enjoyed it, but everyone else seems to hate it, so I think I should hate it. But I think it is going to be bad. So this will be a wait till it comes on Netflix jobby, I reckon. I do not want to pay
I don't think it's going to be that long.
Well, do you think, because I heard yesterday on the grapevine, Dan, that Madam Web, Netflix got that for like a really fucking low price.
Unless it was £10.99, they overpaid.
But the thing is, like, Madam Web was that. I don't think Borderlands will get the same position, but Madam Web is already in a position where a lot of people are going, it's so shit, and I fucking love it. And it's getting that undeserved cult status.
I disagree, though. There's not anything enjoyable. There's nothing enjoyable about it, even in a bad way. I've seen bad movies that I go, I like this because it's silly and stupid, and I know it doesn't work properly.
Yeah.
But that is just, it's poorly written. Nothing happens in it. There's no Spider-Man. Again.
Don't make it.
Like, it's poorly dubbed. People are just saying things when they're not actually saying things. It's just shit. It's all shit. There's not a single thing about it that I like.
There's something I never noticed. I've seen Madam Web. I
still hate Morbius more than it.
Morbius is a much worse. Madam Web is... I can honestly say I didn't watch it and keep looking at what time it is and how long was left and stuff. I just watched it and I went, that wasn't very good, was it? Morbius, I hate every fucking second of it.
Yeah, I think I remember talking about it on the podcast. Yeah. I was just like, I felt physically ill. Like, I hated it so much. It made, there was a physical reaction that I got from it. And I don't think I've ever had that happen with a film before. That's how much it was just so awful. I remember that with First Contact, but I'm joking. But just to circle back to Madam Web, I was watching Corridor Crew yesterday. I was having my dinner, and it was an episode from a few weeks ago. But I never noticed at all. That's probably because of how little attention I paid to the movie. You know, when she's having the kind of apparitions with the ambulance, and she knows that the ambulance is going to get hit by the car and everything else. The truck comes and stuff. When she's doing the chest compressions, she didn't check his pulse to see if he had a pulse, and I forgot how they were because they pinned it all out. Basically, she shouldn't have been doing compressions on him, so they hadn't even done the research into the actual medical side of it of what they should be doing. I didn't notice that, and I wouldn't have known that bit. But nobody at any point when they're doing the compressions, when she teaches the girls how to do them when they're in the hotel thing, and then when they do them later on. Nobody at any point checks for a pulse. They just go straight into it.
Yeah, it's just straight into the...
I suppose that makes sense, because if they got a pulse, you don't need to do it.
Exactly, that's the point. But because if you do, you can damage people by doing it unnecessarily.
Well, I think it's also I remember this is when I was going to be volunteering at a hospital. Oh, no, sorry, this is a first aid training years ago.
Yeah,
and they were saying that we'll teach you how to do CPR and rhythm and things like that. Don't breathe in the mouth anymore. It's not an effective thing, so don't do that.
Yeah.
But it was just it's so rare that this actually works. Like outside of a hospital scene, teaching people to do it. It's like saying, "Oh, we'll sort of teach you how to fly a plane." Just on the off chance, it's no one's actually going to really be able to pull it off.
In case you ever need
especially especially with the elderly and stuff like that. People don't know the right amount of pressure to use. They break ribs immediately.
Yeah.
And it's not it might keep people alive, but it's not. People aren't going to. Like the movies where you just sort of they're back on their feet immediately.
Yeah. It's a good point now. Like there was a woman who lived round the way, and I was going to get Logan from school, and basically she couldn't get from her car to her house, and there was this other woman trying to help her. So I said, stay where I need to go get my son, and then I'll be back. Did that, come back. And
I thought you were going to say that, and then I just forgot.
There's that into it. Yeah, see you later.
Still there to this day.
Shit. But I helped get him and stuff. But a few weeks later, same thing again. And I said to her, you need to stop. If you can't do it, you've got to stop driving in your car, because I don't understand how you can get down your steps, get in your car, go and do your shopping, come back, and now you can't move.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. And I was like, what would you do if we wasn't coming past? And she said, I'll just wait for someone. I said, what if nobody came? You just be sat in your car for hours and hours and hours. Anyway, helped her. This woman come, and then this woman said, can you just pick her up and just put her in the house? I was like, no, just picking her up, I could break her fucking ribs, I could break her arm, anything can happen, because she's really frail old lady like.
Yeah, but if you slipped or something like that,
and
you broke 4 bones, that's your fault then.
Yeah, and I had to go. As Logan went into her house and got this chair that was by the door, it was just like a little wooden chair, and got that, and I got her to sit on that, and I was like, just wait here, and I had to walk down to the pub at the end of the road and ask the landlord to come and help me lift her to come and get her. The guy he's ex-army guy, he's fucking huge. And
but it's just hey mate, can you just leave the pub for a minute?
Yeah, he had to lock up. He had to lock up and everything.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's just someone with their mouth under the tap.
Have you seen that video on? I think it was on. I saw it on Facebook or something. But it's CCTV footage, and there's a guy and wife or girlfriend walking through this bar area. And then he lets go of her hand and puts his head, he looks around and there's no one at the bar, and he puts his head under, and he's pouring all the beer in his mouth. The girl drags him away. But then the camera moves, because they're filming it on the phone, and he's with the security watching the footage, just going, God, security had been and got him. It's quite funny. But yeah, he had to lock up and stuff and give us a hand. But he said the same thing. You'll do more damage just picking her up than she probably would have done if she'd have fell over. Yeah. And it's things that people don't think about, and that apparently just doing compressions, you can break ribs, you can puncture stuff, and it seems a really silly thing to teach.
People who are qualified to do it are obviously, it's far more likely that they know what they're doing.
Yeah, because they're trained.
Will save lives.
Yeah,
but you show 3 teenagers
who have already not listened
3
to
seconds, who are going to have forgotten it already, and then you want to count on them to just restart your. I wouldn't trust them in a million years.
I'd rather die.
Saying, this is exactly the right kind of medication that I need. I need to inject it directly into the heart, otherwise I'll die. And they go, sure, yeah.
I love TikTok. What?
Yeah, that's the thing. If you can't put it into a 6-second video, their attention span. I suppose this was in the 90s or whatever, so they'd have all videotaped.
Oh yeah, it's in the past, isn't it? Mm. It is. When they were enjoying that sweet taste of Pepsi Max.
She would have taught that they compress with the breath as well. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah,
7,
that would
8, 9,
have
10.
been a thing back then.
Breath, and then So they're teaching them modern methods.
And it would have been that reasonably current song, Staying Alive, as well. It's like, staying alive.
I don't think they do that anymore.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Back then, that would have been.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That would have been one of the things they'd have probably. I don't know how.
Yeah, that famous song from the 1970s.
I mean, that's probably when I first heard it. It would have been in the 90s. But yeah, Alien Romulus looking good. Borderlands looking bad. We need to watch both, Dan, and then obviously we'll divulge our thoughts and discussions after that. That's about all I got, though, mate. I'll be totally honest. I don't know if you got anything you want to chuck in before the end.
Not particularly, no. I went to see there's a Batman Unmasked exhibition for the 85th anniversary of Batman.
I was going to say for the 85th time.
No.
How many times did you go?
It's like 20 quid a ticket, mate. You can't keep going back to that. But it was bigger than you'd probably think it would be, but it is smaller than you'd want it to be.
What was it in terms of the Star Trek one?
Probably similar.
All right, yeah, so reasonable.
But the fact is, though, is that there's probably still a lot more within the Star Trek one that I would have liked to have seen, but understand why it's quite difficult to get hold of, or certainly why it's difficult to get it to the UK.
Yeah.
Same for this. But there was, so like in terms of suits, there was like, there were all the cowls from all the Batmans. And the Lego Batman as well. Perfect. Love that. This tiny little Lego thing on a little statue. It's so funny. But they had the Keaton suit, but it's the Keaton suit from The Flash.
The Flash, yeah.
It's not the 89 original Keaton suit. But they had the Bale suit, the Pattinson suit, which looks like shit close up, honestly.
It's meant to, though, isn't it? That's the point of it.
It is, but it looks like it's been just bodged together, whereas the Dark Knight suit looks unbelievable. Like, the detail on it is unreal. So, all of these props, all the bat belts, all the grappling hooks, the batarangs and all that, but everything that's in there is everything is a prop. Yeah. Nothing is a replica. So, when you look at the detail on, like, the Batman and Robin... So, there was no Clooney suit.
No, because the kids there can't be showing nipples and stuff.
That's true. But there wasn't an Affleck suit either. There was the Affleck...
That's a shame.
And there was the Affleck armour, like... broken armor, like when he gets smashed his face in.
Oh, from Batman v Superman, yeah.
So that was there, but there was no full suit.
That's a shame.
It was, because I do kind of want...
Yeah, it's a good suit, really good suit, that is.
Yeah, but then there was no Heath Ledger Joker. There was a Joaquin Phoenix Joker suit.
Yes.
Or the suit. Again, all of these were, like, these are the hero props from all of these. So, like, there's Bane's mask. But then there was like the Batman and Robin, Mr. Freeze, and Poison Ivy, and they are just the cheapest looking things you've ever fucking seen.
Well, that's what it was, though, wasn't it?
But not in like they were just high quality, made to look cheap.
Yeah,
they looked like shit. It looked like I'd made them. And then when you look at like the Nolan, I honestly I could have knocked it together. I wouldn't have been surprised if the staff had made it.
Was it when we made Negan's baseball bat from
Kinda, yeah. Like at a distance on an SD camera in the 90s.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
I'm sure it looked fine. But yeah, like all of the Bale suit there, like all the batarangs, all the gadgets, they're all perfect. They look incredible. Like they look like they would work. Like you could fire that grapple gun and it would work and it would pull your arm off.
I think some of them did though, didn't they? Like obviously I don't think it grappled him up, but I think it did shoot out.
They fired and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But like all the suits were great. Again, there was no Clooney suit, there was no Affleck suit, which again is sort of odd when it's like a big celebration of Batman. The only thing I could think of is that because it's against the UK, maybe they were already on tour in a different
potentially
thing or something like that.
Yeah.
But then there was the Tumbler was there, and that car is fucking gorgeous.
Is it as big as it looks?
Yes, it's fucking enormous. Like the tyres are almost as big as you.
Wow.
Like it's massive. And there's like a guy at the thing because it's on a plinth, like the Batcycle from the Robert Pattinson Batman. Yeah. That's like one of the first things that you see is like his motorbike. And there's the Tumbler's enormous, and there's like a guy who's just like, oh, come on through, don't touch it. And I was like, all right, I wasn't going to, but sure. I get the rules of an exhibition, mate.
Yeah.
But the only reason I'm assuming that they say that is because as soon as they got close to it, someone had written their name in the dust on it, and I was like,
really?
oh, that's why he's here.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was like, what a fucking idiot.
But you meant like somebody who sat on it and tried to ride off.
No, like they'd just written their name in the dust, prick. But it was just sort of like, okay, well, the Tumbler's great, but where are the other Batmobiles? There's like some of these cars are absolutely incredible and iconic.
Yeah.
I get, sure, maybe you don't want the Batman Forever or the Batman and Robin Batmobiles.
Yeah, but you want 89 one.
Of course you do.
Fucking best
you want
one.
The 64 Batmobile, like, the Adam West one. You want the Justice League, the new one from Affleck Batman. There wasn't even like the Pattinson Batmobile.
That seems like
which again,
easy one because it's just a normal car.
Kinda, yeah. But again, I assume it's just sort of like, well, we can't just ship all of it. Like, we put 12 Batmobiles on a fucking plane and send them to Manchester. I don't think so.
The cost to get everything over has got to be astronomical because it's not like the suits will be in cases and stuff.
And everything as well. Yeah. But I'd assume that if there's one in Manchester, there's one in Birmingham, one in London. I don't know, but that would be my assumption. They go, right, well, we'll put the 89 Batmobile, this one. This one's got the Justice League Batmobile. Maybe. That one's got the Tumbler. That would be my assumption. That could be wrong.
Does it make sense for the suits, though? Because, especially like Clooney, he had 3 suits in Batman and Robin. So he could have had one at the Manchester one at the London one at this one.
Yeah, but again, I don't know if it's just one exhibition that is just touring or if there's multiple at the same time. I'd imagine there's one in America as well. But I'd understand, okay, well, we've got the Dark Knight suit, but then the Batman Begins suit, that one's in London. Yeah. And then the Rises suit, that one's somewhere else. So that would make sense if they just sort of distributed them out. But I don't know if that's the case. But yeah.
I'd have had just an empty stand and said, this is from the Ben Affleck solo Batman film. There's nothing in it.
Well, I genuinely thought with because all the cowls in date order were all in these cases. And the last one was empty. And I was like, oh my God, is this you go and see it and they go, well, we haven't,
there's
we're not going to show you, but here's the new one, yeah. And then I was getting close to it, and then it was just the Lego one, so it's tiny. And I was like, oh, you fuckers.
That's amazing, though.
Honestly, it was so clever. But yeah, I mean, it was like I say, the tickets were 20 odd quid or something like that.
Super expensive.
And because they only let you in groups of 20 or so, you've got time to see everything and take pictures.
Dead busy.
Exactly. It's not like a museum where you're just sort of tripping over people to try and see all the cool stuff or whatever. So yeah, it's sort of and there's a bit as well where it's sort of like a Joker Asylum kind of thing.
That's cool.
And it stops you from going through. And it's a countdown for 3 minutes, then you go through and then you do that little experience, then you move through. So it's sort of blocking out people from not going, tripping over each other and lapping each other. Because it stops everybody here, so it gives enough time for everyone else to clear through. And then as soon as it's finished for you, then the next lot. Cool. It honestly works really quite well. So it's very well thought through. Jim Lee actually does an intro video. No, he's not there.
I was going to say.
No, he's done a video, but because it's the Wayne study or whatever. And again, if you see videos of it, it's all looking very good. But I think it's better if you're a child for that sort of thing. Because I thought it was all going to be like that, where it's just sort of it's people going, oh my God, the bat phone's ringing. Oh my God. Oh, here's a puzzle. Who can solve it, detectives? And everyone's like, oh God, come on. But as soon as that's over, it's all just,
do what you want.
Look around, it's fine. Yeah. But he's sort of thank you for coming. It's 85 years of Batman. It's great, blah, blah, blah. Oh my God. Hello? And then they're talking to the person there. But 6 inches above that, it's the top of the framework, so you can just see what's going on. And it's just sort of if you're a kid, it would feel like you're in a big room or whatever.
Did that do
but
The
for
Office?
me, I can tell that it's drywall that's just in a box. And again, if the whole thing had been like that, and you're going and then you're in the asylum, and then there's a guard, and there's character actors and stuff, I think it would have gotten on my nerves very quickly. But honestly, past that part, it was great.
I think I'd have still enjoyed even just that bit because it's just a silly thing. Like I say, because it's not the whole thing. You just go, it's something for the kids. It's fine. I don't even worry about it.
Yeah. It's fine. They can't see all the other stuff anyway because it's all in cabinets that are too high for them. So that part's for me.
This one, Daddy?
Shut up! You haven't watched it yet. It's too scary, the Batman.
It's good timing though, because the new Batman the Animated Series cartoon is on Amazon Prime.
I've watched 7 episodes.
I haven't watched it. I'm going to watch it this weekend. It looks amazing though.
I wouldn't go that far, but it's kind of good.
Oh, I mean, I love the animated series. Is it at least on par with that?
It feels very much like that.
That's all I want.
Yeah, it's not bad by any stretch, but I wasn't like, I have to watch all of this today, right now.
Yeah.
Like who I went with, we were sort of off the bat. She hasn't watched the Batman yet, because she just doesn't like Robert Pattinson. And I was like, give it a go.
Yeah,
that's the one you want to give a go.
It's very good.
But then we watched like 6 or 7 of those sort of back to back. But I can't really remember what happened in most of them. So it just sort of feels very sort of like it's because it's all like the ambiguity of like the animated series of just sort of like, is it kind of the future? Is it kind of not?
Yeah.
Like you just sort of don't really know. This is very clearly like it's always like 1952 or something. Everything is very clearly old. That's
something that works really, really well for the animated series. And obviously that was off the back of Tim Burton's Batman.
His Batman feels sick though in this new one. Like it's just like a giant hot rod.
I mean, I love.
It's like a big tank. It looks great.
I think my favorite Batmobile is the animated series Batmobile anyway, but that could be nostalgia stuff as well. But I think the weird kind of in the past, kind of in the future timeline works really well for the animated series. But they try the same thing in Gotham, where it's kind of in the past, but we've got mobile phones and stuff, and it doesn't work. It just feels not thought out. But this one, from what I have seen, and from I remember seeing the early art stuff that they put out a few years ago for it, and then there was a very small teaser trailer, and it was like, this looks very much in the past. And again, I'm fine with it. It works for a lot of Batman stuff. But yeah, I'll probably start it and finish it tomorrow. So
well, there's only like 10 episodes or something like that.
Yeah, I was going to start it yesterday.
Speaking of animated DC stuff, though, Callum, there's part 1 of The Watchmen.
Is
now out.
Yes,
and I do want to watch that because it looks like it's just. To be fair, it looks like it's an animated version of the movie, which it shouldn't be. It should be an animated version of the comic.
Which it might be.
So I want to. I don't know. I saw a bit of the teaser for it. Or a part of a trailer or something like that, and I was just like, this seems very much like they just animated the movie.
I mean,
so I don't know if I'm going to watch it and go, oh, if they'd have made the movie more like the comic, this is what it would have looked like. But I don't know.
It's got very favourable reviews. Very favourable reviews.
Well, it's easy enough again when you just animated something that's an incredibly popular story.
It's one that I wouldn't say apprehensive, but it's as different from the films as it is. I do quite like the Watchmen movie, but then
I think it's fine.
Yeah, I think it is a good film,
especially the extended cut is much.
Yeah,
that's the superior one for sure.
But then the Watchmen TV show was better than the movie, but it told a different story, and I think that gives for someone that's read the comics and already know that side of the story. So I did like that the show went in a different direction, and I think it would benefit as an animated show doing that. But we'll see. We don't know. This is the first of. I don't know how many parts there's actually going to be.
I assume 2.
I off the top of my head, I would say 2. But I'd like it if they went part 1, part 2 is basically the film / original run, and then the next part 3, 4, 5 is based on this particular story, or it's taking it this route.
I'd assume it'd be more on the sort of the Flashpoint, not Flashpoint, the Infinite Earths thing. Because that wasn't supposed to be a Dr. Manhattan.
Is it now? And then we had the stuff with the yellow button as well. There was a big thing with Superman and and Dr. Manhattan and stuff. That was like 4 or 5 years ago.
That's what I mean. It moved more towards whatever that story is. Because I have no idea. I haven't read any of that.
I've only seen bits and pieces, and I was a bit too out of date with most of the DC stuff, I'll be honest. So I couldn't say too much about it, but I remember...
Fucking hell, I haven't even watched Aquaman 2 yet. I've just reminded myself.
I haven't... No, I haven't. No.
Mental.
Do we need to?
Probably not anymore.
It's not part of anything, so we might have dodged a bullet.
I don't know. I've got a feeling there's a bunch of things. Like there's certainly more animated ones. There's been like a few more Teen Titans ones. I think there's another like a Dark Justice or something like that. I'm sure there's been a few more of those DC animated ones that I need to probably watch.
Yeah, probably some we don't as well.
Yeah, I know. But
have you watched Blue Beetle yet?
No, fucking hell, I forgot that exists.
It's actually all right.
I don't believe you.
It's not. I mean, it's better than Aquaman.
You haven't watched it?
No, one.
Oh, the first one.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Better than Aquaman 1. And I'm going to go on a limb and say Aquaman 2 as well.
You might be right. But yes, no, I haven't watched that.
Yeah, it's all right. It's worth a watch. And I think
I can't believe I haven't watched Aquaman 2 or I haven't watched the Blue Beetle, but I have watched Black Adam.
It's better than Black Adam.
Well, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
What about Shazam 2?
Better than Shazam 2 as well.
Yeah, wasn't great.
I'd say this is more in line with, not as good, but it's, I don't want to say Guardians because it's not as good as Guardians. It's better than Dark World.
Again, that's quite a low bar.
But I'm just trying to think. I don't think it's better than any particular Marvel MCU movie.
Yep.
I don't know. Eternals.
You're going to have to remind me at some point to actually go back and watch that because I'd completely forgotten that thing existed until you just mentioned it.
No, it's worth watching when you do get a chance, but I wouldn't rush out. Yeah, I wouldn't rush out and do it just yet.
Well,
anyway,
that's fine.
We shall leave it there. If you want to see more, you can go to podcastversusplayer.com where we've got more podcasts, let's plays, and game shows and loads of other things. Dan, have a good one, and thank you for joining.
Well, yes.